This is Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and today we're going to do the first cook on the Bradley 4-shelf electric smoker. When I do this first cook, I like to consider it part of my completing of the seasoning process. So what I like to use is I like to use a big piece of pork roast, so that way I can get a nice fatty, yummy smell in there. Doesn't that look good? For my seasoning today, I'm just going to be using the garlic and the 3-2-1. First thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll remove this. And this is just a standard, regular boneless pork roast. I just call this an old-fashioned, it's a shoulder, I'm sorry. I just call this an old-fashioned pork roast, the kind that we've always used for years. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy. We're just looking for the to get a good pork roast, but also to add that flavor at the same time. I have my standard 3-2-1-1 mix, but I'm going to add a little extra garlic. I like to have extra garlic on this. I would put a little brown sugar on there too, but I'm trying to avoid sugar this week. I always start by seasoning the sides and then tapping it down lightly. So the goal is not to kill it with garlic. I just want to double the amount of garlic that's going to be on there. Then I have this, and when you put it in the large container, it makes it great for mixing. Then you don't end up with it settling down to the bottom. And there we go. She's just about ready. I might put just another sprinkle on the top. All right, and she's ready to go, and then I'll pat it down real lightly like that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the smoker. So we went ahead and loaded the pucks up into the smoker, and we put those in right here, and we just take it out of the cookie package, I like to call it. And we fill in the amount of pucks we want plus 2 extra to push. Or we can put in the dummy pucks, which will come later. But I guess they're called biscuits and I keep calling them pucks. But first thing we do is we flip on the on switch. That will start the process of heating up the burner and loading the biscuits. Then we turn on the temperature. I want to go for somewhere around 225, and that should be right in that range. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull this tray out and close the door. Next thing I'm going to do is I have this small piece of piping here. This is a 4-inch tube, or you could use something a little bit larger. And I'm just going to set it on top of the air vent. The air vent is all the way open, but I want to give the smoke a little chance to get a little bit away from the smoker as it exits. That way it won't crowd around here and be a problem for me when I'm working. No other reason, because it'll work just fine. When it's on the ground, I would like to use a 3 or 4 foot piece of tubing, as long as it's not in a windy environment, of course. If you're in a windy environment, you could notch out the side for your adjustment, and you could attach this with a couple of sheet metal screws right to the top. Don't use long ones, because there is wiring and insulation in there. So next thing we're going to do, I've already put this on a grill mat, so it will work out great just like it is. I'm just going to set the whole thing right here, and you can see the grill mat goes right down inside there. Set that right there for a second. You could prepare this all in the tray, and these trays fit nicely in a half sheet, and you could even set it in the fridge if you wanted the surface to get a little bit of proteins on it and let it dry up a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and would like to give it a little bit more time, but it's heating up pretty fast. So I'm going to open this up. Going to advance a biscuit, and I'm going to put this in near the top. This position will be the hottest position and the smokiest position at the same time. Depending on what you're cooking, depends on where I cook it. Remember that the thermometer is right here, so this is the temperature you're gonna get. So your meat is gonna be just slightly higher than whatever that thermometer temperature is. We're gonna go ahead and hit this with 2 hours of smoke. Like I said before, I put in 8 biscuits total, which includes 2 for the push, and then we'll be burning 6 of them. So we'll watch this for the next 15 minutes and make sure that the temperature drops into 225, and we'll let it run at 225 for 4 hours before we adjust the temperature. After that point, I'll make a decision on how crusty it is. So if we're starting to form a real crisp crust on the outside, then I might consider wrapping it, but we'll take it one step at a time. Like I said, this is the maiden cook on this one for me. I have not done my own cook by myself, unsupervised, shall we say. So let's go ahead and see how it turns out. So it's just over 2 hours, and we're gonna go ahead and open her up and take a temperature reading. I did sneak my head in there and look at it first, so it's not completely unsupervised. We've been running a little hot, so a little around probably 240 rather than 225. Gonna open it up here. These baskets like to slide out, so you want to keep a hand on them. We're at 164 right now. I'm going to go ahead and close this down, and then we'll talk for a second. Now, if I wanted to eat that, I could go ahead and eat it as a regular pork roast right now. The temperature is plenty high enough. But I'm going for something a little softer. I don't want it totally pulled, but I want to get it up into about the 180 range, maybe 185. If you want to get it pulled, you'll want to get above 200, so you will want to pull it around 195. So we're going to show you a couple of pictures here, and I'm going to show you a picture of the feeder. And you can see that there's 2 of the spacers in there. Right after I turned off the camera, my delivery showed up with some of the spacers, and I'm going to show you those. And first off, here's a close-up picture here of these 2. So this is one of the biscuits, and this is one of the spacer pucks. It's aluminum, and it's really, really lightweight. This smoker just went off, or stopped smoking just a couple minutes ago, and that is just around 2 hours. So these are about 20 minutes each, and that's why I put in, originally I put in 8, but then I pulled 2 of them back out and put 2 spacers in, so that way we can get that to work. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put another one of these in, and then I'm gonna add a spacer. And then I'll push the advance button, and we'll wait for a second for it to do its thing. The next thing, I just want to go ahead and show you a close-up picture of the pork roast so you can see what it looks like. We're going to check this and see if it's advanced. It has. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and take a look inside. And right now we have one of the spacers on the end there. And we're going to go ahead and push the button again. I'm going to close this and grab my glove. Actually, I've decided to go ahead and grab the tongs. I use these old beat up ones for charcoal and burning wood chunks, but I'm going to use it for this spacer right here. I'm just picking it right out of the ash pan. And it's hot, so we're not going to play with it, but it's got a little bit of char on the side of it. So I want to go ahead and get that next one to smoke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop another one of the cold ones in there. So here I have one of the brand new cold ones, and I'm just going to go ahead and slide that down in there. And then I'm going to press the advance button. I'm just going to set this down on the ground here. I'll grab this other one, close the door, put this one down here. All right, I'm just gonna get another 20 minutes of smoke time on there, and that'll be it. And I'll see you in about 2 more hours. Well, for you, it'll be a couple seconds. For me, it'll be 2 hours. Our temperature goal for today was 180 degrees, and we just got there. The total cook time has been 5.5 hours. I've been watching it over the last hour and a half and taking the temperature a couple of different times. Let's go ahead and pull it out. Right before I turned the camera on, I went ahead and turned the smoker off. First thing is, I took a picture here of the ashtray, and you'll be able to see that right here, and you can see that those pucks or biscuits, after they were burnt, left hardly any ashes. Burned completely through, which is great. So next I'm going to go ahead and show you this, and I think the other side looks a little prettier, so let's go ahead and turn that around just like that. And then you can take a look right here. Doesn't that look good? So let's cut a piece and see how it tastes. Get a look at that, and look at that juice just dripping out of there. I cut just a small piece there, and I'm going to go ahead and give that a try. Normally I'd like to let it rest about 30 minutes. I absolutely love pork roast, and nothing's better than smoked pork roast. The flavor is just perfect. This right here is one of the more drier pieces, so it's got a less fatty texture to it, but it's definitely soft. I can put my fingernail right in it without forcing it at all. And then that's the bark there. And that's perfect. Could have used a little more garlic. And the smoke level is perfect. I would say that I probably could have put in 3 more biscuits and hit it with a little bit more smoke, and it would have been fine. But that's pretty tasty. I think that the apple biscuits go really well with the pork. And I'm not looking to buy another box of biscuits, but if I did, I'd probably buy assorted so that way I could vary it up a little bit for other meats. But I think that's it for us for today. I will link to another recipe for some pork roast, but below that will be affiliate links. If you've seen anything you like, those links are Amazon links, and I will get compensated for those, so thank you, I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.